I turn it on?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, so the adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda of the May 9th, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
I'll motion.
George will motion.
I'll second.
Melissa will second. Is there any discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the April 11th, 2022 regular board meeting be approved as presented.
I so move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Motion by Matt,
Second.
second by Chris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then we have statements from the public. And our first one is Billy Holder.
I'm gonna acquiesce right now.
And then Kenny Perry.
It's been being made my mind. What's Billy's second dog?
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, you said that.
Here?
Okay, we need your attention, please. Okay, so last year, we approached Rutherford, Dr. Rutherford, the activity, the prayer, and the religion activity that was being conducted here at our public school. Okay, so our son came home, and brought a Bible home from school.
Practice.
Yeah, from practice. This prayer was being conducted during practice at a video. Okay? So it was recommended that they go. And then they had an option not to go. But the pressure was saying they had to go. So I'm in there talking to my son one day. I noticed the Bible on his desk. And I was like, so where'd you get that? He said, well, they handed it out at the video, basketball video meeting. I said, really? I said, so were you required to stay in there? He said, well, we were asked to stay in here and have prayer devotion, right? That's what he said. So I said, what do you feel about that? And he said, well, Dad, I don't feel good about it at all. I don't like it. Now, we approached Dr. Rutherford last year. And I'm assuming the school board knew about this last year, right? Did anybody know about this?
Last year?
Yeah.
I don't recall.
So Dr. Rutherford didn't reach out to anyone last year about this? No? Matt, no?
It's not really appropriate to be asking members of the board questions during a public meeting. You can continue your comment.
Okay, so I take that as a no. So, but you all were aware. Because he was holding prayer after the game in the public school. Okay? I know y'all aware of that. It's on Hubble. Okay? So it made my son uncomfortable. And so he asked us what to do. And, you know, we gave him what we thought was appropriate. We said, look, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, don't participate. He said, Dad, if I don't participate, I'm not gonna get the play. The coach is gonna hold it against me. So then.
So then we thought it was addressed, and at least there was no pressure there. The coach called and apologized and said, I'm sorry that he felt that pressure. He's not required to attend. the comment we made during that conversation was, you realize you're still not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to actively participate in prayer at a public school as a school employee. Do you realize that? Of course. Of course. So we thought it was kind of a done deal. About 8 weeks ago, our son said something to us about, and he was just, it was an offhanded comment, I don't even know why. I think he was actually supposed to do something with one of the boys after practice. And they went to devotion. And we said, what do you mean he went to devotion? And he said, well, they still have that. It's voluntary, and there's much fewer people that go, but they've had it all year. And we said, okay, so who goes? And he said, well, most of the people that play more. I said, really? He said, okay. I said, what do you want to do? You're being robbed of the opportunity to prove yourself, not only as a student athlete, but there's been some other things that have occurred, and what do you want to do? And he said, I don't want to, but I feel like it's best if we leave South Spencer.
Before. Now you guys realize this is a constitutional law. This is not the good old boys club at South Spencer. It's like let's do this, and we're going to pretend it's okay, because it's not okay.
Well, and it's not even us just having an issue with this. I mean, this really is a legal issue. So after we found this out, we pursued leaving. We tried to get a transfer form signed. We talked to people about it, and then we asked. We received back that he'd be limited eligibility to play, and that means if he switched schools, he can't play anymore basketball. He can't play because it's not going to be here. So we were just kind of floored, to be honest with you. And so to be a little more direct about the situation so that the school board was aware of the legalities involved in this, we tracked down who the school corporation is represented by, legal counsel, and we sent an email, and we made sure that multiple school board members were copied on that email. And
I know y'all can't answer that, but all of y'all got it. Okay? None of you responded to our email. None of you, this is not the good old boys club, guys. This is a constitutional law.
so what we're here tonight about is, has the message been received, and are you developing a course of action to do something about it?
So you can't answer that. Because look, here's the deal. If we don't get a nod or a wink or an answer, we're gonna get our attorney and we're gonna pursue this, okay?
And that's not what we want to do.
We have referred to legal counsel, and your time is almost up, so if you have anything else.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a time limit.
3 minute
3 minutes.
time.
Okay, 3 minutes for her and 3 minutes for me?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Well,
So
you
that's not
exceeded the
work?
3 minutes already.
So she just got her 3 minutes up. So now it's my 3 minutes. That's how it works, right? Or are we gonna break this rule too? Because you done broke every rule there is with the religion rights. So I get my 3 minutes right. She got her 3 minutes, right? Richard, is that how it works? Or is
Yes,
anybody gonna
3
make
more
me sit
minutes.
down?
So 3 more minutes, go.
Oh, I got 3 more minutes.
Go.
Glad you can talk, okay? So you can hear me. So none of you have responded to this. Richard knew about it last year, and it kept on going on. This has hurt our son for 2 years. He feels guilty because he feels like if he doesn't do it, he's not gonna get to participate on the floor. And if he does do it, then he's gonna be upset because we don't agree with it, because we know it's wrong. So when we found out he was still doing it, we gotta get him out of here. They're gonna shut the sports program down. This is sudden death. This is what is gonna occur. Okay? So, you know, you guys, this is not just a South Spencer Rockport thing. This is real. This is a constitutional law. And it's been broken for 2 years. And they put my son in the middle. I brought him all the way down here to put him in the middle. Now, is that fair? Is it? Look at me. Look at me. Because I came here and I busted my ass. Look at me when I talk to you. Because I am very pissed off. Okay? You got that? So, how much more time do I got? Who's got me on the
You've got
clock?
10 seconds.
Oh, I got 10 seconds. Well, something better be done, and we better be notified right away within the next couple of days by your legal counsel or somebody from the board, or somebody better get in contact with me and my wife. Okay?
Thank you. All right, then we have the superintendent's report. Oh,
Now I'm gonna speak.
okay, so now Billy Holder.
You might need to approach.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Billy Holder. I'm the area representative for Fellowship of Christian Athletes here at South Spencer High School and other high schools here in southwest Indiana. I just want to rebut a couple of things that Mr. Perry said. Never has an athlete at South Spencer High School been required to attend any devotion time or any prayer time. Never. They have never been asked to participate. They have been welcomed to participate. There's a law called the Federal Freedom of Religion Act. As long as it's student-led, as long as the students are participating and leading these prayers and devotion times, they're perfectly legal in the high schools. That's why FCA is able to be in the high school as a ministry, because many of these devotion times. And let me just correct something real quick. I only have 3 minutes. It's really more character building than it is devotion time. Yes, we talk about Jesus, but we talk about building character. Now listen, we have some great parents in here, Mr. Perry being one, who is building great character in their students. I'm just here to help reinforce that and to be somebody to walk alongside these athletes. And that's the only students that we deal with are the athletes, and they are not required to participate. You can come to an FCA meeting anytime you want to. We meet every other Friday at 7:30 a.m. and you can see that they're student-led. I have led prayer on the court and on the field. Never once in 6 years have we gotten any pushback from anyone. In fact, at a high school game in Eastern Indiana, it was televised, and all we got was accolades for having the will to stand up and pray in public. If you have, I understand that there are people who have a problem with prayer in public, and that's okay. You can have that opinion, and I appreciate that opinion. But I just want to reinforce the fact that no student, no athlete here at South Spencer High School or any high school that I deal with is required to participate in a devotion time or a prayer time. Thank you. I appreciate your patience and listening.
Thank you. Okay, so now superintendent's report.
We received a call from a parent the other day. This parent was from North Posey. She didn't give her name or anything like that, but she did want to let us know that they always look forward to coming down here to our meets here at South Spencer. She said our kids, our fans, are the greatest. They show great sportsmanship. It's always good to have that good experience when they come here. So usually, I'm just saying that, usually as a superintendent and as our corporation office, that's usually not always what you receive cold calls for. So it was just great to hear that.
Was it a track meet?
That was from a
Okay.
track meet, yep. So congratulations, Skylar Young, Trinity Britton, and Carly Rogers. They placed first at the regionals and second place at the state competition and the English academic team. So congratulations to those 3 ladies. Also, congratulations to Melissa Davis. That's our Melissa Davis. She was named Treasurer of the Year for District 9 last week at the IASBO conference. Throw out a few kudos to the maintenance department. This is also one of those crazy times of the year, getting all the fields ready, especially with the rain and everything like that. So our maintenance department has done a wonderful job keeping our athletic fields up and running and looking great. Our teachers are gonna have some training sessions for new line interactive boards on July the 26th and 27th. You're gonna see a concrete slab being poured out here. That's gonna be for the new band tower. That'll be later on this week. A couple of dates would be May the 11th, the senior awards at 7 o'clock in the main gym. May 13th will be the Who Carnival. May 15th, the spring concert, choir concert at 3 o'clock. Underclassmen awards at 1 o'clock on May the 16th. And then on May the 19th, well, that'll be early dismissal at 1 o'clock. And then May the 21st, graduation at 2 o'clock.
Can I throw the parade in there too, Friday night before?
Oh, yes, throw the parade in there. Third?
Friday night before.
No, I just meant, is this the third annual?
Yeah.
Third annual.
Third
Okay, third
annual.
annual parade. And I guess we get those kudos out to the Rockport Police Department as well. The
And
mayor,
fire.
everybody else, the fire department, setting that up, the banners up. So,
6
looks
o'clock,
great.
6 o'clock, Friday night, the 20th.
Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Bush.
Sure.
Yep. That's it.
All
Where'd
right,
they
then-
line up?
In the park.
Park. Oh, sorry.
Line up in the park. First come, first serve. Whoever gets there first, they're the first one in line.
Okay, and then the consent items. Approve the payroll claim dockets and the accounts payable claims number 360 to 473. Approve the treasurer's financial reports. Accept the resignations of the following. Approve to post the positions and grant permission to hire. Tara Lloyd as high school assistant cheer coach effective April 6, 2022. Emma Mundy as the middle school, high school music teacher effective May 19th, 2022. And Terry Britt, bus mechanic, effective May 6th, 2022. And then approve the retirement of the following. Approve to post the positions and grant permission to hire. Sandy Bartlett, middle school 12-month custodian, effective April 29th, 2022. Margaret Smith, bus driver, effective May 19th, 2022. Approve the FMLA for the following. Sherry Lair, continuous FMLA from 4/4/2022 to 5/19/2022. And then last, approve the out-of-state overnight transportation request for, 1, the FFA to Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds, May 13th and 14th of 2022. Boys basketball team to Fort Wayne for team camp, June 20th to 22nd of 2022. And wrestling to Illinois Wesleyan University for camp, June 28th to July 1 of 2022. All right, can I get a motion to accept these consent items?
I'll motion.
George will motion,
I'll continue to second.
Melissa will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then the administrative recommendations. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent hiring committee, approve Brad Schneider, superintendent of South Spencer County School Corporation, starting July 1, 2022. Can I get a
I'll
motion?
motion.
Is that George?
Yeah,
George will motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Welcome, Mr. Snyder.
Thank you.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve Mike Harris, 8th grade girls basketball coach, starting the 22-23 season.
I'll make a motion.
Chris will motion. Second.
I'll second Chris' motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve Justice Taylor, 7th grade girls basketball coach, starting the 22-23 season. Can I
I'll
get a-
motion.
Melissa will motion. Second.
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve Carrie Coombs, 2022 summer IRE teacher.
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion.
I'll second Melissa's motion.
Matt will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to move Bettina Martin from 10-month custodian to 12-month custodian starting May 9th of 2022.
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second?
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to move Jamie Curtis from a 5-hour per day custodian to an 8-hour per day custodian, starting May 9th, 2022.
I'll motion.
Chris will motion.
I'll second.
George will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to post and grant permission to hire one summer bus cleaner for 8 hours a day for 15 days.
I'll motion.
George will motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Melissa will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to move Jennifer Douglas from head cook to 12-month custodian at South Spencer Middle School, starting May 10th, 2022. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second?
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to create and post a new special needs aide position at Rockport Elementary using Title I funds for the 2022-2023 school year.
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
George will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then new business of the board. The second reading of the Neola bylaws and policies, volume 33, number 1 and 2, volume 34, number 1, and the special update for non-discrimination and anti-harassment.
Make a motion.
Chris will motion. A second?
I'll second Chris's motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the revised professional services agreement with Jack R. Kinkle and Son Architects. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second?
I'll second her motion.
Any discussion?
You wanna give us an update on what this entails with?
Dean, would you want to give an update on Kinkle? That'd be awesome. Guess you don't have to, but yeah, thank you.
So with this project, what we're doing, we had started out, we were going to replace the bleachers at the football stadium, and then we were also going to replace the lighting at the football stadium. So we started this project last fall, and what we encountered, which is something that everybody's encountered, is there's a lot of lag or lead time in getting something like bleachers. And so we realized that we weren't going to be able to get the project done before our football season this year. So we went back to the architect and said, you know, what's our options? And the architect said, well, since we're looking at another project the following year, 2023, go ahead and combine the two projects and then take advantage of the economies of scale so that a bigger project would give us more bang for our buck. So that's what we're looking at doing, excuse me, with this contract, with the architect, we've basically tripled his scope of work. So that's why we had to do a revised contract and get that approved. So the new scope of work will include the football bleachers, the lighting at the football stadium. We're also gonna build a hitting facility for the softball and baseball teams.
What?
A hitting facility.
Batting.
Hitting.
Hitting,
Yep.
okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So,
I'm
so
sorry,
the,
I'm not much on.
so the hitting facility is going to be down the same location where our concession stand is. So right now, our softball concession stand at those restrooms, we're gonna take that building out, and we're gonna replace it with a 7,200 square foot building. This building's gonna have new public restrooms, it's gonna have a new concession stand, and then it's gonna have a 100-foot by 60-foot hitting facility attached to it. So it's gonna be like a pole barn type structure. And so along with that project, we're gonna do softball field updates as well. We looked at doing the lighting for the softball, and the problem that we ran into with the lighting is that the poles were in the way for where we wanna put bleachers. The poles weren't designed for LED lighting, so we're gonna replace the lights, and then we're also gonna replace the bleachers. The problem that we ran into with the bleachers is that if we put these bleachers in, the dugouts are gonna obstruct the view. So we're gonna have to take those dugouts down and shift those down a little bit so that we can actually get a good field of vision on the softball field. So we're gonna do that. We're also gonna add concrete for ADA accessibility. And we're looking to doing both of these projects in 2023.
That's gonna be a new press box as well, also some chairback seats for the football stadium as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, thanks, Steve.
Tell what it costs.
We don't know yet. Yeah. Gut would be over 3 for everything.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then there were written reports to the board that included the technology report, maintenance report, transportation report, and the new volunteers report. Are there any statements or concerns of the board?
The only thing that I have is I just want to congratulate the senior class this year. I know after coming out of the COVID season, I think this year was actually kind of normal, which was what I was hoping that we would be able to have this year, and I'm glad that our seniors got to experience that. And as well, all the students got to experience that as well. So congratulations to our graduates of 2022.
I've got comments. First, I'd like to say welcome, Mr. Snyder. Look forward to working with you at the beginning of July, and you'll have my full support moving forward and doing things, focusing on putting children first. So that's first. Second of all, to some old business. You've heard me over the last couple of months bring up a discussion where our board president, Janet Stoermer, spoke with Dr. Rutherford about a stipend of a athletic director contract. And I've asked her in March's meeting and April's meeting to give feedback on this. I've also written her in email form asking for information. And I've also told her that I would meet with her and Dr. Rutherford in private. And I have got the same response every time, and that's crickets. So I want to give the board some information on how this went down. On February 10th, that would be the evening that we had a school board meeting where we voted in legal counsel. Earlier that day, Mrs. Stoermer asked Dr. Rutherford to trade the stipend of the athletic director for her support and vote for the legal counsel that we so chose. That evening, we had the board meeting where we appointed legal counsel. The very next morning, on February 11th at 7:15, Dr. Rutherford sent Mrs. Stoermer the following email. Janet, we have a new attorney, but I don't know where we stand as a corporation, since I did not agree to your deal yesterday regarding the support of my recommendation of an attorney for giving the athletic director a stipend. You told me the CTA would move forward with the grievance and/or unfair labor practice if I did not give him the stipend, which I cannot and will not do without the board's approval. Is this still the case, and can you share your correspondence with the CTA with myself and the rest of the board? That was at 7:15 on the 11th. I then took that email that I was blind carbon copied on, and I forwarded it to Lisa Townsell with the Indiana School Board Association with my concerns as to what was done. And I'm going to read you her reply. Her reply says, as to the statement below that the board president offered to make a deal with the superintendent and that she would support his recommendation for legal counsel if he would agree to give up or to give our high school athletic director a yearly stipend. She then says, I can clearly state that this is unethical conduct on the part of a board member. As stated above, the decision as to who should be hired as the attorney for the school corporation should be based solely on the qualifications and experience of the individual. A board member should never condition his or her support for the recommendation by the superintendent on the superintendent's agreeing to do something else. I want that to be clearly marked on the record, that this attorney says, I can clearly state that this is unethical conduct. Which leads me to point number 2. And you're going to see that we have no communication on the board, and there's more communication out to the corporation than there is within the board. And I'll give you a couple of examples. We had I'll give the date here. On April 18th, we had a board meeting that evening, and that was April's board meeting, and the conversation that we last had from Terry McDaniels, who was part of that hiring group that went through the process of selecting our superintendent, indicated to the board in that 6-hour class that we all sat through that it was in the best interest to read the contract and to not mention the name of the superintendent until the contract was being signed. And that was when we left the meeting, and we heard nothing about this until the morning of April 18th at 8:30 a.m. when I got an email from my board president that says, since the new superintendent will be announced and made public tonight, Mr. Snyder and his wife will be present in the meeting. So someone has gone against what we were all instructed and made a decision on their own. And that wouldn't bother me, except I travel a lot, so I get a text with a screenshot of a teacher who posted, contrary to what some of you may read on other people's pages, I have heard word from a very important source that they are in fact announcing the name of the superintendent tonight. The meeting is at 6, open to the public. This was posted a half hour before my board president sent me an email telling me they were going to announce the name of the superintendent. So we have teachers that are hearing that the name is going to be announced in public before we, the board, know anything about it. I would like to say that that was it. But then a week ago from tonight, we had a post on the South Spencer School page that Janet Stoermer has reached out to the corporation office and specifically requested that a reception be listed on the agenda for tonight without talking to her board. I am not against supporting a reception because I support my superintendent, but I would never do that in the presence of our current superintendent who sits before us here tonight. This again is another decision that was made without the board's consent as a whole. I knew nothing about this. The 12 hours that this was sent to me in an email saying anything about a reception, I was on the road traveling. So within that 24-hour window, we've made a decision to post it on social media. It doesn't make sense to me how we make the decision. And then, Janet, you replied in a text that the only person that you heard from was Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard from one board member, so that makes it right to go to
I
Dean and
asked
have it
every
posted.
one of you your opinions and your suggestions and ideas, and I got nothing except a response from Melissa.
So that
You
means-
wanna sit
so
here
does
and
that
you
mean
keep
go for it?
bashing me and bashing me and bashing me, and it's because you don't read emails close enough. I guess, I don't know, but I have asked,
So did
and I
you-
get
so
no
did you or not-
response.
Did you or did you not offer a deal with Dr. Rutherford for his support?
I didn't see it that way, and I know you did, and apparently he did too.
Okay, that brings me to question, to item number 3. So let's be upfront, clear, and straightforward here. On 4/20 of 22, Wednesday evening at 6:30, I'm sitting at home, and I get a text from my vice president, Melissa Middleton. And it is a link to a Facebook page from a corporation an hour and 47 minutes from here, with a special meeting that was on their Facebook page 90 minutes prior. And it's Dr. Rutherford's hiring at Salem schools. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world can my vice president know what Dr. Rutherford's up to? I meet with him every other week, so I at least talk to him. So I know there's communication there. How does this transpire? So the next day I schedule a meeting with Dr. Rutherford. And Dr. Rutherford, I'd love to play poker against you because you have no poker face. I can see on your face when something's brought up and you have frustrations about it, you can see it. So what I did is I straight up asked him, I said, Dr. Rutherford, how can Melissa Middleton know what you're doing an hour and 47 minutes away? And his facial, like I said, his facial, he gave it away. I said, what's the deal? And so he pulls up some communication. And the communication is a group text. And this group text started at 3:59 p.m., 1 minute before the special meeting started with Dr. Rutherford's hire at Salem. And I get a photo, he shows me a photo where our CTA representative drove the hour and 47 minutes and is sitting in the stands for Dr. Rutherford's hiring. You have a fan, Dr. Rutherford. And I thought, well, what does that have to do with anything? And then I read the group text that he so willingly shares with me from Veronica Hobbs at 3:59. Party on. Salem's new superintendent. It is over, is her reply. And then there's a couple of photos of Dr. Rutherford on stage at Salem. I would love to say that's where it stopped. It didn't. Our CTA president had to then jump in with an African American lady with her hands doing this, saying hallelujah. And then another meme of a black man doing this with thank you, Jesus. The list of people on this group text happened to be 7 CTA teachers, 1 elementary school principal, Melissa Middleton, and Dr. Rutherford. And the chain went dead after that for a long period of time. Pretty obvious someone recognized that one of the numbers on there was you, Dr. Rutherford, and that this wasn't aimed for you. I hope it wasn't, because if it was, I would have expected my board member, a principal, a CTA president, or 7 teachers, someone to step forward and say this is inappropriate behavior to be doing in a group text with a school board member, a principal, 7 teachers, and the president of your teachers association, your local. I bring all this up not to stir the mud. I bring this up because we're getting ready to bring a new superintendent into this position, and if we continue down the same road of choosing sides and choosing battles and not governing and supporting the leadership in this corporation, he is doomed to be in the exact same position 12 to 16 months down the road, if not sooner. You guys have shown no support for the current superintendent, and I want to wish him the best to succeed. That's what I'm asking tonight, is for us to all be on the same page and do what's right for the students, the parents, and the taxpayers. With that, I yield back.
Anyone else? Any other comments? All right, so the next meeting date will be the regular meeting of the board, Monday, June 13th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the multipurpose room here at the high school. Time to adjourn. 6:39. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, George. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do I have some paper for you guys to sign?
Sure you do.